C'est bon? Hello? Hello everyone, I'm not sure this is working, so this is the first for me. So, are you hearing us? Is there anyone? Okay, well, just in case, oh, you don't hear us. No, you don't? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, hello. So, Didi. Loud and clear. Okay, so you do hear us. Okay, that works now? Okay, so you all hear us. Me. Well, yeah, us is me, obviously. There's someone there also, that's why. So cool, awesome. Yes. Well, it will be in English, obviously. So thank you all for being here, listening to me. The goal for today was for me to try to answer as many questions as we could. So we'll be going for, I don't know, 1 hour, we said? So we have some time to work on the game as well, So the less we talk, the more we work. Anyway, so what we did, we took some of your questions. We did like a pile of stuff. So there are way too many questions that we could answer during that Q&A. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just show some of them. We did the first selection. I think there is 30, 40, 50 questions that we selected. Do you know how many we have?
50.
50 questions that we selected out of the over 100 that you proposed. They were all interesting. It's just that we knew that we had to do a first choice, and then we just go randomly try to pick some of them. So first questions is from Avid supporter. Will you add luxury and anomalies that can only be found on water tiles? So we had in the past actually anomalies that were on coastal tiles. I have to check that. Actually, we should still have at least one of them. We don't have any plans to add more for the game release, but definitely things that will come after the release. We didn't do anything special on the lake tiles, but I think that should be no problem to add that on lake tiles later on. So right now, so to summarize, coastal tiles, we should have at least one anomaly, and if not, more will come later after release. That was a short one. Wow. Okay. Another one. If I ever come close to your studio, could I come to visit from Biboul? Bible, I'm not sure. So we are in Paris, and yes, last Tuesday we had Vivet, who lives in France, and who happened to drop by the studio. We spent quite a long time with him. We also, so it depends, if it's one request every once in a while, we always say yes. And we had quite a few people coming. But what we did in the past, we tend to organize more and try to regroup all the ones that are interested. So they come together and we make an event around it, so we can present you some stuff we work on that nobody knows about. So in the past we had Pankadzu, Vivet, before we knew him, coming, and quite a few others. What we do also every year, we meet at Gamescom, and we also present stuff we work on, just a sneak peek on future stuff coming. So anyway, that we definitely want to encourage you guys to come and visit us, come and see us. So we have this direct contact together. In the past week or so, I also had a few video conference with some of you guys, some actually that are connected right now, to really have more direct feedback from you guys to me, to tell me what is important to you, and so I can also explain to you guys exactly what we have in mind and what is the vision, etc., etc. So to make it short, yes. So if you drop by, especially if you just are traveling in France and and you want to just you have this one chance to come and see us, we definitely do everything we can to meet you guys. So voila, that was another one, longer for something very short actually. Shouldn't have been that long. So next, from Nomas. Animated diplomacy screens like the intro of Factions. Okay. So some of you among the VIPs already tried that. We definitely. Actually, it's funny because when we first designed the game, 2 years ago, at least when we started the Endless Legend, one of the first things we said that we wanted to have 2D screens for diplomats, and we said that we wanted to see them animated. And strangely enough, didn't make it until more or less a couple of weeks back. So it's only in a closed beta test that only VIPs can play on at the moment, but that will be in the release. So we have intro factions for all the factions, and we'll have all the diplomats animated. It's in 2D, it's not in 3D, because for us it's more in the style of the game, and so we prefer that. I'm just seeing a question from Crix Doomsday. Game looks awesome. Do you think about making collector's edition for it? Well, we do have one edition, which I think, how do we call it? It's the Emperor edition or something like that. It's more a support the dev edition. That's how we see it. If you want basically to put more money in the game, we give you some extra stuff. It's not about what we give you. It's more about you guys supporting us. And if you want to support us, you're more than welcome to take that edition. But later on, we also want to work as we did for Endless Space. Art books and stuff, so we can share more of the arts that we did. Premium edition exists in a few countries. I mean, premium edition of our game exists in a few countries. It's possible that there will be some box versions that but that it's local deals, and I'm not quite sure about I think probably in Germany you may have a special box edition and some places, but I'm not the best one to ask for that. So I will stop on your questions, Crix Doomsday, because I don't know, I'll say something so wrong that people will be mad at me. Okay, another question. Oh yes, and that's right. It's the Founders Pack. Thank you, Draken. Okay, stop reading questions. Now, a question from the Cat O Ninetales. Can we expect to see more information overlay option on the map and the ability to turn the stylized view currently used on the farthest zoom levels on and off at will? So not for release, but it's something we always had in mind, because Lieutenant Miles, for the ones who know him, like when he plays like Civilization, for example, he only plays with the extremely simplified version, which I always thought was really odd. But at the same time, I do understand why you may want that. So you really have just the pure mechanics in front of you. It's about really taking the right decisions and not be troubled by the visuals of the game. It's painful because we put so much effort to make the game look good, and when people say that they want to be able to stylize to see just the map version of the game. But I do understand that, and we also understand that it could help for people that may have troubles with performance issues. So we'll definitely look into it after the release of the game, later on down the road. I don't think it will be on the highest priorities, but it will be and should be on the list. The Mac version for MIP, the Mac version of the game will be actually we hope to have a closed beta of the Mac version this week. So if it works well, it should be released the same day as the game. So basically what we aiming at is the game to be released so the very last days of summer, to have Mac, PC together, probably Linux. So I hope so. But yes, Mac is. I mean, we've been working on it for quite a while, so it should be good. Okay, next question. Nosferatiel, so who loves tricky questions, and so Nos, he's the one also behind the cultist faction, and he has a question, which is, what exactly is your method of balancing units, equipment, and factions? So thank you, Nos, especially with your impossible to balance cultist faction. I would say it's problematic. No, there's no good answer for that. But basically, our method is, at first, when we design factions, we look at and the same for equipment, the same for units. We want to make sure that we cover a spectrum of roles, of templates. So basically, you are in for X. You want to have factions that are good for science, good for explorations, good for conquest, good for economy. It's extremely easy, but at least you need to make sure and not forget that all the gameplays you want to support in your game are supported by at least one faction. That's for the factions, and that's the beginning. Doesn't mean that's a balance. It's just how you start, and from there, well, the way we do it is, we always start classic. We say, okay, this faction will be bad economy. Then what, and what we try to do is to say, okay, let's break what people could expect of a faction. For example, what we did with the roving clans, so that are our economic faction in the game. Although actually we could say the broken lords in a way are very good with dust, but anyway, with the roving clans, what we did was, for example, to forbid them to declare war, and that whole system of having that war being forbidden, it totally changes the dynamic of the gameplay. Once, anyway, we found unique dynamic of gameplay for each one of the faction. What we do is it's mainly trial and error. Basically, that's all we do. We play, and it's more or less to see at the end of the game what was your how likely were you to win, basically, and how easy was it to win, or how hard was it to win, and we try to balance that out. Multiplayer was implemented pretty early on, although not that stable at the beginning, but also helped us to compare each other's and see how we play. And then when someone is very good with a faction, first of all, I will take his role, and if you play my faction, same map, try to play again, see if we can be better than the other one. So that's for us the best way. So it takes a long time, basically, but it's the only way to make very asymmetric factions. Else the easy way is to make extremely symmetric factions, and then it's very easy to balance. But we preferred to go for asymmetric factions and to balance that more or less in an old-fashioned way, basically, to try and see. Okay, I'm not sure if there are any questions. Okay, no. Okay, so next question from Prop Buddha. The combat system in Endless Legend is very unique. What was your goals and inspirations for creating this system? The goal was, okay, we had several goals with creating the battle system. First of all, I would go back on your question on QO123. I just finished with the one from Prop Buddha. Basically, the goals with the battle system was to make it quick, and all about the terrain and the units basically. We created that very unique terrain with like all these altitudes and all that these very tricky ways to move around and to make ambushes and stuff. So we wanted to make sure that if we made battles, the terrain would be extremely important. All about heights, all about where to stop someone, where to block someone, where to place your units basically, and which unit to place where. And at the same time, we wanted that to happen over the course of a couple minutes, basically, not more. So that was the main goals. I think we did quite well with that. Now the inspirations, we had plenty of inspirations for that. Most coming from board games, basically. It's more or less trying to find like this feeling of like little characters, like fighting, on these boards. Could be war armor, could be we had the Eagles, I think, a long time ago. Anyway, there's plenty of board games that basically use kind of similar systems that you want to find like this kind of feeling like a general, basically, not like a captain or a sergeant. You want to feel like a general who gives these big orders and basically see his troops trying to do the best of the terrain, their visibility, their defenses, their equipment. And that's why also what I like about our terrain system is to be able to use it to choose basically where you want to have the fight happen before. Because what I would have hated was, for example, to have a random map coming each time I had a battle, because suddenly you have a map that does not fit where you were fighting, or I could not predict where it would happen. For example, now what I can do is when I see an enemy coming, I could more or less try to move back and go back on that wonderful hill, and try to wait for him on that hill. And if I see him trying to avoid the fight, I could try to intercept him, while he tries to avoid my fight. And just that preparation of the fight, just choosing where the fight occurs, really sounds like what it is in real life, or what it was probably just for the initiation of the fight. That the whole kind of agreeing together on where we wanted to take it out. I hope that's and there was also a game from Sid Meier which was awesome, but I think very few people played it. Was Gettysburg. It was awesome, and also lots of inspiration from Gettysburg. Come back on your question from Onkyo123. Will you be adding more visual improvements on the heroes when you put new equipments on them to make them stand out? So basically, it's a talk that I had last week. I think it was with I forgot. I really had a discussion with one of you guys this week. Kingsguard, I think it was. Okay, when we started on the game, you all know that we are in the game company. We're not that big, pretty small actually. Just look at the set, where I'm talking about. It's not a big fancy place, just a small office. So we had to make choices when we decided to work on the game. So where we put the little money we have, so it has the most impact, on you guys, on the visuals, and on the immersion of the game. Making units is more or less the most expensive part. You have the terrain, and the units are the most expensive areas. Making a unit takes a long time for us, especially to make it nice, including the research and stuff. Equipment, adding equipment on it. It's easy to do it if you to make it ugly, basically. So if you just want to add stuff on it, and so it looks like you have equipment, but it's not really made for the guy, and it's to make it look really nice. For example, like Diablo 3, for example, it's awesome. The way they can customize all that, and you'll notice that they have only up to 4 heroes at the same time on in front of you, but anyway, to make it look that nice, it is very expensive. If we had to do it, we would have had to put so much value, so much money in it, or we could have done some other games I will not cite, but some other games indie like us chose to show every armors and stuff, and doesn't look nice, you know. And in the end, actually, which is to me even worse, is all units look alike, because they all have more or less the same armors and some places, and it's really hard to tell what's what. So that's what also we wanted to avoid. So I want to make sure that, you know, if my heroes evolve, my units evolve, you know, that it shows, and I can really notice, you know, what they have, and I want them all to be unique compared to other heroes. But doesn't mean that, you know, it's not something we can improve. I don't say that we'll show all the items and stuff, but I think stuff that we can improve, and post-release, obviously, because it's a lot of work. But depending on, you know, on what, you know, what is important for you guys, we could imagine, for example, looking at, you know, with rank or with the technology, see, you know, the model of the creature, like, kind of evolving and becoming more badass, for example, to show more of that. So it's some of the stuff we could imagine, but for us it is very expensive. So again, that would be like, you know, doing that would mean not doing something else we could have done, and it's kind of the stuff that we need to all decide together when, you know, when we evolve the game. You know, it's again, where do we want to put our money? You know, is it in that or in something else? You know, again, it's art for art, you know, so maybe art we put there, some art we put in quests, for example, you know, by adding more quests and you know, more visuals for quests, or more unique creatures that we don't have, unique factions we don't have, more, for example, one of the trade-offs we could have, do we want to see as many units as we have now? We have 50 or 60 units, I've lost track of the counts today, but see them with more evolutions, or do we want to see more units added to each of the current factions? And I think the two questions are interesting. Well, okay, so I'm good at that was an answer for you. Okay, that you like the weapon change at the moment, but it's yeah, okay, cool. So next question. Take that. Question from Purple. Purple, any plans to add more active mechanics like the ardent mages spells to the factions in general? I feel like it would be to add a lot of depth in options in play, which feels sorely needed at times. So when we first designed the game, we had that actually, and suddenly our battles became very, very, very tedious, basically, and it was a mess. You know, all these active abilities all over the place. You know, we have nearly kind of a simultaneous or real-time system when we play the battles, and with all these abilities was making it even more like speed. And yeah, it was not making it easy to understand. Actually, what we did over time was to try to simplify a bit, you know, the battles. We did remove these active abilities, only to keep the passive ones, to make it more about, you know, and trying to increase the importance of the terrain, of the units, of their placement, and to be more about that than the kind of the timing of when you use an active ability, which is, you know, it's fun. I'm not saying that, you know, it's something, you know, which is it's just that it was too much to think of, and yeah, it was tedious. So it is somewhere in the code. Who knows? Maybe like a modder will find a way to reactivate it and use it, and, you know, we'll be fine with that. But for now, we don't have plans. Anyway, it won't be in for the build, that's for sure. Even for later, I'm not sure, you know, we'll add activities for later, or maybe in a while back, you know, once we have the time to digest a bit more, you know, how the game evolves, to see if we want to add active abilities or not. But to finish on that topic, what I would like to add is we did add spells for the ardent mages, as you've seen, which in a way are kind of active abilities, but that's only the addon mages. And what I like about that is, yes, battles could be a bit more tedious for them, because if they want to be as powerful as they can be, they have to use their abilities. But it's a choice, you know. Like, do you want to have a tedious combat system that is, for some of you would think it's more rich, then you would choose the addon mages. Others, like me, for example, who want to avoid that, will not choose that faction and would take something else, like the necrophages, for example. Well, I don't know, I kind of like them. I'm not aggressive usually, but I like the necrophages. So yeah. Chileric Caldor, diplomacy screen. To see. Oh yes, we're still working on the diplomacy screen. We're working a lot on the mood, because we are adding animations on all the guys that you see in the. So sorry, I'm trying to answer like Chileric Caldor question. If we are going to improve the diplomacy screen, so adding animations on all aspects of it, more informations that you should get. We also are tuning, you know, the way it works, how to interact with AI through it. But the one where you see all the guys, you know, in front of you, we definitely did add a lot of things for the sake of clarity and to give you more informations. If you still feel that, you know, we need more information after that, it's stuff we can add for release or after release. That's it's more or less stuff that, you know, I think it's never enough. So you don't want to drown the player under too much information, but at the same time, you know, diplomacy is extremely important to understand exactly how the other player or AI feels, and, you know, where you stand compared to them. So definitely working on that. Okay, another question from Kroos. I don't know if we already had one from him, but anyway. Considering that Endless Legend is some kind of a confirmation game after the first Endless phase, are you allowing yourself to postpone the release date in order to further polish and balance your eligible and thus set a new absolute standard? So it's not a confirmation for us, because we are never ending. So it's just the beginning for us still. You know, it's like a second or third game, you know, with Dungeon. We spend more time on it. We were supposed to, at first we aimed to release in spring of this year, and postponed because we wanted to add more, wanted to spend more time on the AI, on the diplomacy, on the immersion. There's been a lot of stuff that we wanted to work on, balance, you know, each time we move something or add something. The balance of the game is off, and then we have to redo everything. So it's sometimes, you know, it's when you start trying to add stuff, you have to redo a lot of things, and then you want to add something else. Basically, you could never stop working on the game, and actually, it's more or less what we do with our games. You know, like with Endless Space, for example. You know. Endless Space, you know, it was 6 free add-ons after the release. Adding a lot of content to the game was one expansion pack. When we come live with the game, we look at it as, you know, being it's a live game basically. For us, we don't say we release the game; we say we come live. Basically, that's how we see it. The first kind of coming live is the early access, but it's not the same, you know, like it's early access, it's a maximum of like 10% of the number of players that would play on the game, so it's also 10% more or less of the feedback you will get on the game. And also these 10% are playing on the game, which only gives a glimpse of what the final game will be, or the, you know, early or the release or the live version of the game will be. So it's only when we say it's live that, you know, it all starts basically. So yeah, a lot of stuff coming after after the release, definitely, and a lot of postponing already. It's nothing we're ever afraid of, but at the same time, you know, I wish we could spend, you know, like 4 years on the game. At the same time, you know, it's just after like a month, you know, we're too small for that. You know, we need to release, and it's easier for us to work on the live game. Okay, another question. wait, I think you just summary screen anything about. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, summary screen. You've seen that. Okay, good. Okay. Another one from Bibble. Do you plan to add a modding tool? If yes, when? Okay, modding. Very good question. Normally, if everything goes as planned, as you know, it never does, but you know, let's hope, you know, that for once, you know, it goes as planned. We should be able to have basic modding ability at the release of the game. Meaning we could edit everything that the game designers, most things that game designers here at Amplitude are working on or can edit. So it's basically, if you go and look at the files of the game, you know, you have a folder called public. So it means like everyone can go in there and, you know, easily change all the data. It's a lot of data that you'll see in there that affects every aspect of the gameplay of the game. You can go there and really have fun with it, and later on what we hope to release with the game is to be able to just create mods in the mod folder that will just, you know, override this file. So you can do pretty powerful stuff. Yet at release you won't be able to have graphics modding. That's something we have an issue with linked to Unity, and so we are in discussion with them to find a nice clean way to add basically visual 3D modeling art, so you guys could create new quests, for example, and adding your own art on it. Could maybe reskin the whole game, you know, and make it about another world. That's kind of things that we want you to be able to do, but we are limited by our comprehension and use of Unity. But it's a talk we have with them. So, but anyway, as soon as we can do it, that other part will come in, and we also have a map editor that we use internally that we will try to find a way to share with you guys. Okay. Okay, Devil Dog Medic. That's Devil Dog Medic is the same, huh? Right? So yeah, I talked about with Nazarog about DLCs. It's more or less what I told you guys about. Basically, the way we look at it, the structure of the game is the following. We make add-ons and expansion packs. Add-ons for us are free. It's extra content that we add to the game to expand on the game. The idea is basically with the add-ons, the free add-ons is more to do more of what we have already, expand more on what we have already. When expansion packs would be to add a whole shape, a whole area of the game which is totally not existent. For example, as an example, and it could be something else, but we could imagine an expansion pack being all about spying and having a whole gameplay area that would go about, you know, kind of mischief and trying to do a bit like we have with the privateers already today, something which is kind of odd, you know. It's like, you know, you are at peace with someone, we can attack them anyhow. That would be a kind of, we could have a whole expansion pack system that could work on that, with adding faction and stuff that to support that gameplay, and of course making sure that every single faction in the game would use that new gameplay that would be introduced in it. So it's really extremely ambitious. Normally when we do an expansion pack, when we do an add-on, it's more focused. For example, it would be focusing on quests. So it says quests already exist, but we'll be adding more quests. And let's say, for example, some quests that could also change a bit. You know, dynamic, like cooperative quest, competitive quest. The first one, complete the quest, wins, for example. So it's a system that already exists in the game. It's just, you know, expanding a bit on it, and just that could totally change again, you know, your pleasure of playing the game. So it could be pretty interesting. So we're definitely looking forward to work on add-ons and expansion packs. It's a chance to be able to work on the live game, basically. Sorry, and to your last question, Devil Dog, are they planned already? No, they're not planned already. It's an open discussion that we'll have with you guys. Once everyone can play the game, to see a bit, and what kind of aspects you want to add to the game, which elements you want to expand on the game, and then together we'll see where it goes to add-on and expansion packs. Okay, cool. So next question. Yeah, there's a delay, obviously, as you all know with Twitch. So that's why sometimes I answer questions that. Anyway. Okay, so next question from Jupiter Jew. In the final release, can we have more control about the map we generate? Like how long frequent is the winter? I have to say winter is a cool part of the game, but hell annoying. So thank you. How many villages of minor faction in total? What kinds of factions are there on the map? It's a very good question. We definitely did add a lot of new controls. I think it's only the VIPs that can test it at the moment. I'm not sure because I'm kind of losing track of who is playing which version of the game. But anyway, normally the latest version of the game has plenty of controls about generations of the maps. Yet on this one, it's true, we don't have control on the frequency of the winter or its length, which is a very good point, and I think we should add that. We don't have one about the number of villages either, although it is easy to all these elements, for example, mods can easily add that, for example, but anyway. Anyway, that's stuff that we should give you as choices. So again, if we don't wait for release, it's something we easily add later on. It's yeah, it's good stuff. And the same, for example, like being able to better select the kind of manufacturers you have in the game. Okay, okay. So Dark Messiah. Okay, okay, cool. Anyone post-release plans? More or less we discussed it with Devil Dog. Yeah. So basically, the idea was for Dark Messiah that yes, we plan to release free add-ons and expansion packs in the same fashion that we did with Endless Space. We want basically to support the game for a long time and focus add-ons around gameplays we want to expand on and expansion packs. To add new part of the gameplay. That's for you, Dark Messiah. Anyway, sorry. So what about custom factions? What things can we customize from Crimson Vegas? Custom factions. So we added the custom factions on VIP builds to be tested a few weeks ago. I'm not so happy with it because we don't have enough choices at the moment. Because what we did was we only took the traits that are available to the current factions, and we offered the possibility to use these existing traits to create your own faction. But that was not enough. Basically, that was I think more or less 40 traits or 30 traits. So I wasn't very happy. So now what we're working on is to add a lot more of these traits to end up like something around 80, 100, a bit like Endless Space. So you can have stuff that current factions don't use, but that you may want to use to create your own faction. So that the current factions are only just a subset of the possibilities that you can do by creating factions. Then so it's tricky to that custom factions may become more powerful than the existing faction. That's why usually you have less points for custom faction than you have for existing faction, because existing factions are it's a scenario basically. So by playing these factions, they're not optimized. They do answer a story, but they're not optimized as a custom faction can be. Okay. So other question? Okay. A question from Avid Supporter. What do you think of dual production queue? One for buildings and one for units. Okay, I've seen your post about that. I think it was you on the forums. Sorry, speaking a lot, I need to drink. Yeah, I've seen a new post about that. I understand the idea. I like the simplicity of just having one industry, focusing on one production at a time. Having the industry being split between two things, one for units and one. For me, it's complexifying a bit. Something that should be pretty simple in production should be pretty simple. So that anyway, it's definitely not something we have any plans for release or for after release. We're always open to suggestion, but it's something that definitely changed the way we look at the game. So I don't see it coming, basically. But anyway, maybe something we'll take into account for later games. It's a possibility. Okay, another question. From Dark Messiah first. What's the morale like at the office? You guys do know you're making a real great game, right? Oh, cool. Okay. Well, we never hear that enough, Dark Messiah. So thank you very much for saying that. And I think we do need to hear that at the moment, because all we see. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys are working in the video game industry, but or in any similar type of industry. In the end, basically, all you see are the problems. Basically. So that's odd. You know, you totally lose track of the good stuff. You only see the bad stuff, and then you tend to be always a bit, like whipping yourself. Oh my god, I have so many bugs left. Oh my god, this is not balanced. Blah, blah, blah. So the morale is good because we love the game, and each time when we play multiplayer together, we have a blast, and yeah. So definitely, it is great to be able to work on the game you're passionate about, that you love, with a great team that we have here, because every single element in the team is really talented, and it's not always the case to be able to work with so many talented people in one place. So that's great, and that what makes you also want yes, there is amazing things happening, chemistry between in the team at the moment. It's just that ending is always difficult. It's giving birth it's painful. It's for the greater good, but it's the most painful moment. Basically, it's really giving birth. So morale is good, but we can't wait for you guys to be able to play the live version. So, question about Vivet Group. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. How do you feel about implementing new aggressive ways of dealing with other factions without waging war? How about raiding, pillaging, looting, and making plots? I love that. I miss that actually, even today. Actually, it's stuff actually I wanted to see even more with the privateers. So you can definitely expect that to come later on. Just don't know how that will come in. Will it be will it be the focus of an expansion pack? Will it be in add-ons? I don't know, because it could be a pretty big aspect of the game. But it's good. It's good, and definitely something that a strong aspect of the game that we want to work on. What's Darkness? I love your questions, Darkness. So that's why I'm picking all your questions. What biggest lesson have you learned from making endless space that you brought into Legend? Biggest lesson. When we started the game, we thought we had so many lessons, and we thought we knew so much that we decided to do the perfect game. That obviously everything would go right and nothing would go wrong. Well, we've been proven wrong very quickly. Everything we thought we knew, we didn't know, and we have to learn again. It's hard because every game is different experience. Just working on the terrain, but without having to work in space anymore, changes a lot. Having not cinematic battles, but a bit more tactical battles that are on the train totally changes. The whole dynamic on looking at the game, balancing, everything is so different. But there's one thing that we did learn that I think successfully kind of changed Legend. For me, was the factions. As we evolved with our Endless Space, there are a few things that stayed with us that we really enjoyed in the Endless Space. That was mostly in the factions. We really liked all the factions that we all loved at the office were the kind of odd factions, like the Cravers, for example, that are always at war with everyone and that are more or less eating the planets, their own, and they always need to be on the move. Kind of these locusts, kind of moving and destroying the universe. And if they ever stop, they die. So they. I really love the way the Cravers work. With Disharmony also, also their gameplay with hating, dust, for example, was also a big influence on that, and we really love that. So that's. These two kind of factions kind of shaped the design of all our factions in Endless Legend, and it did stay and it worked for the best. So well that thanks to Nosferatu, we ended up with this extremely difficult, this extreme as a design of faction that there was a cultist, which, as I said earlier, is extremely difficult to balance and work with. It's awesome because it's the gameplay. You feel like you're playing just another game, and that's the whole idea with these factions. Whenever you play a faction, you should play a different game. It was tough and extreme on that one. But anyway, challenge accepted. So we did it, and I think again, in a way, it will also influence us in how we play, work on factions on the next games. I'm seeing a few questions there. Have we made a profit on Endless Legend yet? Oh no, So to answer Kill and Big Bugs, no, we didn't make profit on Endless Legend. The early access is really, it's not, or at least in our experience, not something to make money, and it should definitely not be. I think that would be wrong to try to make money off early access. The goal of early access should be as it is, which is to gather feedback and to together be able to make a better game, and so when the game comes out, it is really polished and nice, and and again, it should not be about finding bugs. That should not be your goal or your job. You're still playing to have fun. So we should still on the early access give you a good time, and we should work on that. But you will not play on a finished game, and also I think we should understand that it's not for everyone. Me, for instance, I rarely buy early access games because more or less I'm all day long in an early access game, and all the time. So that would be odd to go back and play games that are not finished also. So I rarely do it. And when I do it, it's odd because in our case, for example, the game is cheaper in early access, but it's still the same game in live. So it should be more interesting to buy it, once it is in early access. But I think people want to see the reviews and to make sure to have a professional advice on what the game is really about before to buy it. So no, we didn't make a profit. I hope that that the players that we have right now are only a small portion of the players that we'll have later, and count on you guys to tell all your friends to come and play Endless Legend, but we'll see. Dark Messiah, again, one of your questions are there plans for hardback edition of the art book, which is absolutely coming. So we did an art book on in the space, so hardback edition, sorry, of the art book. But it was mainly for us, friends, family, a few community members that were very involved. You know, that we sent the hardback edition. So that's more or less what we had in mind. But you know, if many of you guys, you know, want to have your own hardback edition, you know, we could definitely try to think of a solution. It's just for us, we're so small. It's we don't have proper solutions to handle that. We'd love basically to be able to do it. You know, again, we wouldn't make a profit out of that, but if it's a good way to diffuse, you know, the art of amplitude, you know, we just love the idea. Oh, okay, and Devil Dog is making a contest to win a free copy of Endless Legends. So you guys should check on the forums. Actually, I have to see. I didn't read your contest. I just heard about it. I thought it was just awesome, but I didn't read the whole post about it. So you know what? I will go and discuss that with the guys. So just go and check it out, guys. It's just awesome from Devil Dog to be able to give free copies of Endless Legends. So thank you. Okay, Dark Messiah again, question about the combat. A lot of negative feedback seems to revolve around the combat coming from the press previews. Combat has been going through a lot of different iterations, and the press, like many of you guys, have seen it. I've seen all these iterations, and we have. It's true, at the beginning it was messy, it was hard to understand, and therefore not strategic. As it is today, I hope, you know, anyway, it is closer to what we were aiming at, to have a strategic combat, so you do understand what happens. So I understand that it will not satisfy everyone, you know, because we are not making a tactical combat. You know, it's a game where you play an emperor, it's all about being this emperor. Yet, you know, we want to make sure the combat are strategic, you know, and you know, and you should understand what's happening and what's going on, and it's all about, you know, taking a few decisions, but the right decisions. And I think we are evolving very well in that area, and the last feedbacks that we had from press and you guys seems to point that we're going in the right direction. So I'm happy about that. Okay. Links. So some hints. Well, the espionage-centric factions is mostly me, because I'd love to have that in. But I think basically I think we need to spend something to digest a bit the game. And see if that's really what needs to be done for after, and that will be also according to what you guys say. So to make it short, we have started zero work on addon and DLCs, addon and expansion pack, sorry, the old DLCs more or less. So no, not at all. We want to make sure that everyone on the team just focused on, if we can add stuff today, it should be for the final game, for the live game, not for what's coming after. So maybe the last week, maybe we can imagine some people, because the last week we want to make sure the game is extremely stable. So you don't want to add stuff on the last week or 2 weeks. So maybe at the end we could imagine having some of the guys starting to work on some content for patch or add-ons after that. There will be stuff added to the game, just to make sure that the live version is stable. That's how we could do it, but not yet. So Dark Messiah, you're asking about our near future plans that we could reveal right now for the viewers. Not sure to understand our. I think our near what I see is just about It's just about finishing the game, basically. That's the most secret plan that we have at the moment. What exclusive do we have? No. We just finishing on all the stuff that you know and we've been playing. So and I think we seeing Stephanie from Seattle there. You know, the one who knows her from the team community management here. No, Dark, sorry if I don't have any special reveal that we have, except, you know, what we said, you know, that we have add-ons and expansion packs and stuff coming after a long support, so nothing more than that. It's odd, actually, it's true, you're right, I should have planned, you know, that's something like credible to announce, you know, that's like that's the problem about being too transparent. You're so transparent that basically you keep nothing to reveal after, like to make, you know, a big announcement. But I have to work on that. Okay, we are nearly finished. I will have one last question from Kroos. How many budget in euro do you have for Endless Legend? How long since the start of the development? So I will not get into money details. I can say it was 3 times Endless Space in term of budget, which probably was nearly twice more than we wanted to spend on the game. With ambitions on the games always increased as we move forward, because we just want to do more and more, and you know, and we see you guys, you know, the first feedbacks were so incredible that, you know, it encouraged us, you know, to even invest more in the game and do stuff, you know, we didn't think of doing at first. So way more than Endless Space, that's for sure. Well, to be honest, also in Endless Space, you know, some of us were not paid at all, so it made it kind of cheap, you know. So now that we have a salary, you know, obviously paying people. So okay, I'm all done here. I thank you very much, guys, for being here. Thank you very much for your questions. First, for the ones on the forums, I'm sorry, there are plenty, you know, I didn't address. You know what, I will keep, you know, that the unanswered questions on the side. So maybe, you know, who knows, we could find some more time if you want, guys, to that I come and try to answer them later on. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. If you like the game, please, you know, tell it to all your friends and recruit them. You know, tell them to come and play the game, come and join us, come and support us. We need you guys, and thanks. Bye bye, everyone. Cheers.